Hello and good morning. This is Andy McCann, where I am trying to help you build a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finance. It is true. We do a lot of movement, and in that movement, our joints get painful. I had a question from Jerry, who he and I listened to the Survival Podcast by Jack Spirko, which is a great podcast about, you would think survival like it's zombies. It's not at all that. He maybe should have named it Lifestyle Design with Jack Spirko, but that doesn't roll off the tongue as easy. It's a lifestyle design type thing where you learn to basically become a bigger part of the systems rather than relying on the system. You become the system. So he encourages things like get out of debt, buy a house, raise your own vegetables, raise some chickens, that sort of stuff, right? So it's more like survival as in if the normal bad thing happens, like a hurricane, lose a job, whatever, you're set up well to survive it. Okay, so anyway, Jerry asked a question, and I just really want to drill down into it. His basic question was, what can you recommend for aching joints? And then he goes on to give a great explanation of who he is and what he's done, and I'm going to summarize this because reading out loud is my nemesis. He says he's 64, 5'10", and 165 pounds. So with that right there, I can already tell a lot about him. So it's fascinating what being in this business, just a few details can really say. Now, it doesn't tell you if he's actually fit or not, but I can look at him and say, I bet you're relatively healthy. At 5'10", 165, that's basically me, except a little taller, so good on you. So at 64, that's pretty hard to maintain. Usually at 64, I could also say, hey, your joints are probably not going to be great and your range of motion is becoming poor. So that's something we talk about. He said, hey, I don't do a lot of heavy weights. Instead, I do higher reps. I love that. He mixes it up, does many different things, but it still hurts a lot. He's tried supplements and he's tried edibles. So let me first get this out of the way. I'm into supplements, totally fine with that. But if you haven't fixed your food, then the supplements are really not going to move the needle. If you really want to move the needle on your life, it's how you eat, sleep, move, think, and connect. Right there is about 99% of how you feel better in life. If he's not sleeping right, a lot of this could be a part of it, right? If he's not eating right, so in this case, he admits to being I'm high, I love sugar, and I love carbs. I'm trying to eat more protein, but I love that stuff. So this is where I would say you have to kind of pick your solution. Am I solving for my tongue's an asshole and I need to eat what it wants? Or are you solving for my joints hurt and I'm willing to do almost anything? Because I would say I've seen miraculous results. Evan cured his Crohn's diagnosis doing the lion diet, which is basically salt, ruminant meat, and water. He did that for about 4 months, and he's like, Dad, I feel different. And then we went on to carnivore. He and I are stuck on carnivore. He does a little less of it. I'm pretty hardcore on it. But anyway, my point is, I've seen him use food and getting rid of all the inflammatory stuff to really change what his body is doing. So if your joints ache, I would probably start with food. What are you eating? What I would say is hire a professional. You've got Coach Josiah at our gym. You've got Coach Jennifer. You got Coach Matt. Who else does nutrition? I'm sure there's somebody that I'm forgetting. Anyway, so at our gym, you've got these people. I know, like, and trust them. You probably know, like, and trust me. Extend that to them. I wouldn't recommend them if I didn't think they knew what they were doing, right? So utilize them. The best thing you can do is have somebody that has expertise look at what you're doing to see if you're doing it right. So many people are like, it's just food. I know what I'm doing. No, you don't. The number of people I talk to about food and how stupid they are with food, it's incredible. This is why I don't do food, because I'm going to say stop eating like a death row inmate. And just people won't do it. I don't like, what I dislike is people want to solve a problem like this. Jerry is not saying this, but I'm going to say he is, right? We're going to pretend. Andy, I'm willing to do anything except I still want to eat sugar. Okay, well, you're not willing to do anything, right? And it's not really that big of a deal. How bad do you want to solve it? I would do anything. Okay, let's start from where the 5 big things. How are you eat, sleep, move, think, and connecting? All of those. How are you doing that? Now, I know you're thinking connection. What can that do? Dude, there's this whole thing about your nervous system. Man, what is that big nervous system right in the middle of your body? The whatever. Vagus nerve. So if you can get into that, life is good thinking, the world is positive, and all that. Weirdly, I know, I don't want to believe it, but that does a lot for you, just like sleeping does. So eating and moving are big as well. But you got to start with those 5 big things. So if you're only trying to solve it through, why don't you take a supplement? Just start taking pills then. Why don't you just take a pill and numb your body out, right? So there's a big component of this joint pain that's going to be inflammation from the food that you eat. Now, it could be the food itself. It could be the toxins or whatever that accidentally or purposely get into the food, or it could be that your body just doesn't like it. I don't know. I am not a doctor. I did sleep at a Holiday Inn Express someday in my past, so I'm pretty good. But okay. So I would hire somebody to look at your food. Usually you only need to have them maybe for 2 months. I'd probably go 3 just to make sure you learned everything. And then you could take that on with you for the rest of your life. It's a beautiful thing. So hire a mentor. Okay, so what else could you do? My joints hurt. There's many things you can do. One is you should definitely use your joints as a body in motion tends to stay in motion. If you stop doing, then your body is going to go to the lowest common denominator. Your body is the ultimate adaptation machine. If I'm sitting at this desk right now doing that, then it's going to adapt to that crazy stuff, right? So that form of sitting in a chair is not what I want. I want an active, mobile body. So what I would do is for a while, change it up and try. Instead of going for intensity, if you're at the gym with me, right? Because that's what we aim for, the intensity of the stimulus, right? Or, showing up every day and then hitting the stimulus. Instead, I would say, let's solve for your joint pain now. So the biggest thing isn't your health and longevity. It's joint pain and longevity. So let's solve that. So what I would do is instead of, for him, and you can do this in the gym too, instead of doing a lot of high reps, so let's say he's got, 20-pound dumbbells, and he's doing thrusters. Instead of doing 30 thrusters fast, I instead would do tempo thrusters, and I would change that up throughout the week. So maybe it's a slow 3-second count to get down, then a 3-second count to stand up. And then the next day it's, a 5-second down and then explode up. And then the next day it's a drop down and then 5 seconds slowly, or 7 seconds, slowly go up. Your joints, to get the blood moving and all that through it and stuff, it wants to be used. And that compression and that hinging is what it needs to get the things that it needs. Now, unless something's tore. If you've got hey, every single one of my joints has no cartilage, that's totally different. So that was not in the email. So I can't go down that road. I'm assuming that, hey, my body works mostly the way it's supposed to work. Now, I have seen, my wife does these LifeWave patches, and she says, Andy, there's a guy who put it on his knee and it regrew his meniscus. Now, do I trust my wife? Yes. So I believe her. Does she trust Timmy, whoever it was that said it? It's his story. Why would he lie? So yes, she trusts him. So basically through me, we extend trust to this story. Did it actually happen? Man, I have no idea. Everything she has pretty much used on me does not seem to have the effect like it does for our family around us. The only thing that I've ever seen have the effect is when Evan did the lion diet. I said, hey, this is a lonely journey. I'll go on it with you. So at least there's somebody walking beside you. Plus, 1 data point is nothing. At least 2, we can make a line. 3 would be better because then we could make a trend, but I had 2 of us. Nobody else wanted to do it. So many of the things she tries on me haven't really worked. Now, I will say that when she started using this X39 patch on the back of my neck when I would go to sleep, my completely white hair started turning somewhat black. Now, it's still white or gray or whatever, but I do have black hair, which is crazy to think my hair went black again. That's just insane. That doesn't normally happen. So patches, if you're interested in that, it's my wife, Verity. I don't really do much or know much about it, but she can tell you everything. Just email me, text me, whatever, and I'll set you up. The other one I'm going to tell you is this. I have seen people use this rebounder thing. I'll link it. It's on Amazon. This one that I found is the standard. It's got 16,000 reviews, so I figure it's a good one. It's a stamina folding trampoline with smart workout. Oh, there's an app that goes with it. I don't think you need an app. I would just say bounce. I know that it's good for lymph nodes. So I know people who've been in the medical cesspool with their lymph nodes, insert whatever disease you want, and has used this in combination with other stuff. And it seems like it was part of the prescription that they came up with. Does that mean it'll work for you? No, but at $52, it's a lot cheaper than buying supplements all the time, right? Okay. So let me back up and kind of go through the list that I made when I was talking or writing this out for Jerry that I knew I would not get all the time in that I wanted to say everything. Anyway, so I'm going to give it to you guys because you're listening to this podcast. You're going to get the full thing. My big thing is, what are you solving for? Let's solve for that. The second thing is try tempo-less to get out of so much use and still get that compression and the angular motion, right? And do full range of motion. Okay. So he already said he's moving daily, and that is good. It's not sexy, but it's part of what we do, and that's great. So thumbs up there at 64 especially. The next piece was the high rep. I would try doing less and then the tempos. So load is probably more important than supplements. So I would check out the weights you're using. So if you're going to go slower, typically that means you could do more weight. Could you buy another set of dumbbells and be like, hey, these are my, the different days that I do the different movements, I have different dumbbells? Maybe. I'd like to roll with a set of 25s and a set of 35s, right? So 25 or a 20, actually, it's downstairs as a 20-pounder. A 20-pounder, I can do pretty much anything all the time. Let's go. 35-pounder gets a little bit difficult. At the gym, I typically will use our 50-pounders, but I don't have that at home because the only person that would ever use it is me, and I want to lean away from stupid, and I know at home I'll probably do something stupid. So I would check out the loading and see how I can change that before I would drop into the supplementing. And before I went into supplementing, again, would go back into the food. So sugar and refined carbs are inflammation. I know you, Jerry said he's keto-ish. I would go full keto and see how it went for you. Okay, the other one he had mentioned he was doing edibles and some other things, some other supplements. And so is it pain management or pain resolution? So this is where I would probably add in something like, man, I don't know what it's called anymore. It used to be called Ramwad. Let's see if that's still on there. Ramwad. Ramwad is now pliability. So they changed their name. So this thing, pliability, it just basically teaches you how to be very mobile. It's like going to yoga or something. Typically what I do is I work out in a hoodie and I keep the hood up, like today's workout. Either I cheated or I did pretty good. I don't know, but the hood was up and I got super warm. When I was done with being super warm, we had Alyssa, who was a new girl at the gym. So I was going to just basically be there for her if she had any questions. So I rolled out the entire time, but it's great. I was probably going to do that anyway. So she gave me a really good excuse to sit on a PVC pipe. I use I think it's like a 4-inch diameter PVC pipe instead of a foam roller. I just use that because, well, one, it's cheaper, and two, it hurts a whole lot more, so you get more out of it. If you can get there. It took me probably a year to finally build up to the pain tolerance. So it was a bunch of iocane powder before I could get on using that. Anyway, so I'd use this Ramwad. Okay. So for Jerry, the idea was train smarter and longer and calmer and see if that works, right? Some other things that I would kind of dive into is isometrics. So you could actually do holds and sometimes you get the same effect. Now, I'm not saying you will, and this is just things that are like, hey, I'm tossing it out and give it a shot, especially if you want to, like, the question was, what solutions do you have? These are solutions. Will it work for you? The answer is, I don't know. So the static hold is what I use when I use, oh man, the knees over toe guy. He has a real name, but he goes by that, the knees over toe guy. His thing is mostly about an MCL, ACL tear and that, but I used it for my meniscus. It was so-so, but his big thing is lean out a lot and get mobility and hold it. Build up to it. Just don't like jump into it. So I like to work out, be super warm, and then I do these sort of things, right? So I mentioned this before, cartilage loves compression and decompression. So that squeeze and release is going to help move blood. So if you're walking, I would change it up and say, hey, sometimes walk up hills. That's just a different setup, right? Maybe pull a light sled. It's different. Now, the knees over toe guy found the thing where he would pull a sled backwards. So basically, he's walking backwards and pulling the sled, and that did more for him than pulling a sled normally. So it's something to consider. I already mentioned this about the rep scheme, so I'm going to leave that one alone. Something else that could help, especially if you have elbow and shoulder pain, is actually working on your grip strength. So there's a cool exercise where you basically take a towel and you put it over the bar and you hold on. You can even slide it up and down, but that is going to help a lot. You could do a farmer's carry, and you know me, I really love the suitcase carry. That helps as well. So strengthening up the natural motion is great. Another one for your arm especially, and I'm doing this right now for my right shoulder because I'm going to do this big bike race, the TNGA, is I will take a kettlebell, turn it upside down, and do a kettlebell press with it. Since it's upside down, it's light. It's like the 25 to 35 pound, somewhere in between there. The 35 pounder I can barely do, but I go super slow and very methodical up and down to build stability as well as strength in that joint. Now, the other thing you can do is like a scap push-up or a scap pull-up. So just using your scapular, so your shoulder area, and just pulling down and up rather than your entire arm. probably the biggest takeaway is train that range of motion, which he's already doing if he's doing lightweight, but don't worry about the rep scheme either. So if we're solving for joints, fix the joints first and let's see how it goes. I already mentioned the sleep. It's a huge thing in recovery. I mean, I have a whole podcast on sleep. Actually, let me go find it for you. All right. It's episode 67, and it's called 18-ish actions to fix your sleep. I probably could have called it something better, but that's what it's called. I got some pretty stupid names. Okay. I think that's about it, guys. So your joints are important. If you're in the gym and you've got some pain, let me know. Let's talk about it. Ask any coach, actually. They're probably going to give you some good answers. Again, just like hiring a nutrition coach, there's literally a coach right in front of you. Ask them the questions. Who was it? Man, who was I? I don't remember who I was talking to. Let's say it was Coach Allen. So he and I are talking. Somebody on the far corner does a snatch. We both stop talking and look over there. And we looked back at each other and we both I saw that too. Yeah, we both saw that. And we walked over to help whoever it was do that snatch that they were doing. We're like, yeah, that wasn't good. Let's fix that. So whatever it was, we stopped in the middle of what we were talking about because we saw out of the corner of our eye, a thing happen that wasn't great. The coaches know this stuff. Ask them. That's what they're there for, to lead you in class, but also to help you through whatever it is. Well, help you through. So let me clarify that. Help you through mechanically with your body, not in your head or in your heart. That's Coach Jamie. She is a psychotherapist. She will help you there. So hire Coach Jamie when you need to talk. She is awesome. I have said several things and I will text her and be like, hey, is this okay? She's like, yeah, that's normal. Don't worry about it. And as a 52-year-old man, with sometimes, I guess the world's less conservative or less nervous about it, but words come out and I'm like, I don't even know. Like my daughter teaches me new words. I'm like, that's not even a word. Or Dad, now that means something totally different. Yeah, I just got off that bus. I don't know. So anyway, I'll ask Jamie like, hey, am I okay here? And weirdly, she gives a lot of really good advice because that's what she does all day. And she could hear it. Like I'll say a thing and she'll look at me like just in normal day, like we're out either playing D&D or at the gym or whatever. She's like, yeah, I would probably or phrase that differently. I'm like, yeah, I see it. She looked at me. I'm like, all right, what did I just say? How do I unwind that? Anyway, we have coaches here for you that are here to help grow you, to get you along the track. If you've got joint pain, let me know. I'm happy to help, and so are the other coaches. All right, guys, this has been Andy McCann here with Fitness, Food, and Finance, trying to help you lay a firm foundation in those three things.